Welcome to the Curry Gumbo Podcast with Nicole and Ashley. And this month, the month of December, we will be reviewing our favorite holiday TV episodes. Stay tuned. I watched Eve when it came out in 2003, the early
Me too.
aughts.
Yes.
And I really liked it. I remember really liking it. And it felt very Girlfriends meets Living Single.
I can see that.
Looking back, it felt very Living Single in the delivery of the jokes. Some of them felt kind of like super expected. It felt cute. It felt really cute. Like, oh my
How
God,
do
your
we
mom
think?
walked in on us having sex. Oh no, hijinks.
Yeah.
It felt very um there's a difference between the black comedies of the early aughts and the black comedies now.
I was going to compare the 90s to the early aughts because I feel like we have nostalgia for the 90s with the Living Single and Martin and Different World and Cosby. So like everyone goes back to them, but we kind of like skip over the early 2000s.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am not the biggest fan of. I watched Eve, but I'm not the biggest fan of Eve. I wasn't the biggest fan of All of Us. I wasn't the biggest fan of Half and Half. I wasn't the biggest fan of The Game. I wasn't the biggest
Oh, I
fan
love
of
now the
Girlfriends.
game. That was different.
I remember watching The Game closer to when it was getting canceled and before it was gonna be brought back on BET. And I was just living for the drama of the
Mm-hmm.
cheatation. But yeah,
Melody
like
and
I
Derwin.
don't go back and watch The Game. And
I don't
is I'm
either.
sure it's on HBO.
It was on
Because
HBO got everything. It was on Netflix for a minute. I don't know if it still is, but it was on Netflix for a minute.
I have no clue, but I mean, do you go back and watch it?
No, I don't.
Did you? Yeah, I don't.
If it's
I
on
don't.
TV, like if I'm watching TV, I would. I like the earlier seasons before the BET seasons. The BET, they just got, it was just drama, it turned into like a black soap opera. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay, this not a fun
And
sitcom no more.
didn't
Oh,
Lauren
I didn't
London join
watch.
the
Listen, when Tia left, I left.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
I I don't know which black show came out that removed the studio audience. I feel like the first one I was watching was Insecure, but that can't be right.
With no studio audience.
Yeah.
Oh,
Did
you mean
Atlanta or
like?
Insecure come out
eh,
first?
Oh, I couldn't even tell you. Maybe it could have been this around the same time. If we're saying
Yeah.
first or second, I don't think it's a major difference. Maybe a few months. Like I don't
Yeah,
think
but
it's a big
those
difference.
shows I really like that aesthetic. I think that a lot of shows, period, white or black, were moving in that direction. You're not
Like
having a
shooting
studio audience.
in the field, like not in the studio. Like you're in the city.
Shooting in the field, yes, and also you don't have an audience cueing you in on the laughter. Like if the
Oh,
joke
okay.
just doesn't land in your house, it doesn't land in your house. There are certain times, even in shows that I really like Martin, where I'm laughing all the time, but there are certain times I'm like, oh, that was supposed to be funny. Because the
Mm.
audience laughed. I ain't laughing, but I know somebody's laughing. In your house, if you ain't laughing at Insecure, if you're not laughing at Atlanta, if you're not laughing at Abbott Elementary, then you're not laughing. I think that's one of the other reasons why I don't take to the Tyler Perry shows,
Because they make you
because a
look.
lot
Because
of
they have
them,
the studio audience laughter
Yeah,
thing.
the comedies, I would say. Like the comedies have the studio audience, and I'm like, child, we aren't we past that? Like we've moved past that. But maybe I don't know. Sometimes I feel like Tyler Perry lives in nostalgia. Like he's thinking about the shows of the 80s, 90s, early aughts, and he's like,
Traditional. Like
I
he's
want to
even
capture
though
that.
he's we will get into this in this episode. Men who are traditional kinda like I can see Tyler Perry, he's traditional in the sense of how the show is supposed to be, but he just kind of wants to do it on his own. Whereas when you get a show like Insecure in Atlanta, it's like, no, we're just gonna shoot it the way we feel
Mhm.
it's best, or we're gonna do
And
our own thing.
that's another reason why you shooting it in the field is a way to experience the city. Yes, because in Martin, did you ever get a feel for Detroit?
No, and I was gonna say only in the Martin episode when they went to LA and there was just like we from Detroit, whatever. But I was gonna say there was a lot of shows placed in random cities for no reason,
Mhm.
like Eve being placed in Miami for what? Like there's nothing that says Miami about this show. Nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think first, other than the establishing shots, that's the only way you know you in Miami. Because again, studio audience, we in everybody living room, we in the diva couture or whatever that
Diva
fashion line
style.
is, diva styles, we in a, store. And
But even the subject matter has nothing to do with Miami. At least with the Fresh Prince of Bel Air, you kind of got the sense that Will is from Philly and they moved to Bel Air, which is a rich area in California, and
Mhm.
there is you knew the differences. Even though I've never been to Philly, I've never been to Bel Air, but I could pick up on the differences of each city
Yeah.
and the people who live in the city, and how their mannerisms, how they act, how they speak, how they interact with each other. These other shows, you could just it's like just pick a random city. Just pick one. Anchorage,
I've
Alaska.
never I've never spent a significant amount of time in Brooklyn, but I will say the Cosby Show, I knew they were
Yeah.
not in the South. I knew they were not on the, in Miami.
And I
It
think
did
they
feel
filmed
like,
in New York. I think they did film in New York.
I think so. I think so. But also they still filmed in a studio, but it's still, I get what you're saying about the subject matter.
Mhm.
It felt like, I remember there being conversations between Rudy and cousin Pam, and saying like, okay, how do we get from here to here? It's okay, you're gonna take this train and that train and
Oh
that train.
yeah.
Oh, they're gonna get lost. Like I remember those conversations. I
Even when
remember
Vanessa went to Baltimore to have big
to
fun,
have
and her
big
mama was
fun.
like, "You was not going to Baltimore. Nobody's Baltimore. You staying your butt in New York. We not traveling out the state."
Fuck your big fun. So yeah. Um and there was always talk of like Theo going to NYU, living in the
Yes.
village. Like there was that talk. I think, I don't do you watch the show King of Queens?
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's a show I really like. You could tell they in Queens. Like you
Yeah.
can tell they're in New York. You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Same thing with
Um
Seinfeld. I like that when I watched
that is
Seinfeld.
a New York show.
They're in New York.
You know that they're in New
They're
York. I
walking
wonder
down the
how
street.
they,
They're
yep,
going to the bodega.
yep.
They're interacting with, I mean, what's his name? Worked for the Yankees.
Who worked for the Yankees?
George
He did?
Costanza. Yeah. When he
That's
got it,
wild. Yeah.
when he got a job, he worked for the when he finally got a job, he worked for the Yankees.
But I mean, I can say I knew that Living Single wasn't set in the South, but I still didn't feel like Brooklyn. Like when I watch High Fidelity, the Hulu television
Yeah.
series, I'm like, okay, we are in New York, we are in Brooklyn. You know, I didn't really get that with Living Single. So I think, I don't know, like maybe it's give and take. Like you had to decide, like, are we going to be a show that privileges the location? And this show, Eve, did not
No.
privilege the location at all.
This
Like
could have been, they could have been in Alabama.
even in the manner of dressing, I'm like, why am I seeing long sleeves? But it was a Christmas episode, so it's probably a little chilly. It's a little chilly
I
outside.
mean, yeah, it gets chilly, but still, it's different. One show, I don't know if you watched it, Rap-ish with the
A
Issa
little
Rae.
bit, yeah.
One thing I did like about it is that you can tell they were in Miami. Even
Yeah.
the supporting characters. You can't do a show in Miami or anywhere in South Florida and not have no Haitian person.
Exactly.
That's the
And you're
criticism
not
that,
getting here. You
yeah,
got a whole British nigga.
exactly.
You got a British nigga. Donovan is British, running a club.
It's like, okay. I mean,
They
sure.
spent all their money. They didn't, I feel like they just didn't spend a lot of money on like the research department, on like who should be
No,
there.
they just said, let's go to
Yeah.
Miami. Like,
Before Bad Boys, was anything set in Miami other than Miami Vice?
Golden Girls.
Anything black?
Nope. Not that I know of.
See? That's it. So yeah, and even with Bad Boys, I think there's gonna be a come to Jesus time with that franchise too, because when you did see Haitians, they was like
Oh, I heard.
gangsters.
Or then the other criticism with Bad Boys is that they didn't use Haitian actors. I keep seeing. I didn't
They
watch the
didn't.
movie.
Yeah, they probably didn't. And also,
No, but they're saying
so
they
if
had
they
the
didn't use
Jamaicans
Haitian
playing.
actors,
I heard
well,
they
then
had
I wonder.
Jamaicans playing Haitians, and the accent was just like it just threw people.
Yeah,
People who know it just threw them off. They're like, okay, so this Jamaican is Haitian. Like, what are
yeah,
we doing here? Just get a Haitian
yeah,
person if you want a Haitian character, or at least someone who can do the accent.
yeah. And they just felt very like childlike and just very quick to violence, and just like I don't know, like who there? Who in my house? That ain't no Haitian talking like that.
No.
Ain't no Haitian talking like that. Mike Lowry. Anyway,
But back to Eve in Miami. This is a Christmas episode. JT, Eve's boyfriend, is frustrated with Eve because she's a career woman and she's busy, constantly working at her. She owns a dress store. What did we just said the name of it?
Diva Styles.
Diva Style.
Yeah.
Yes, and she has this client, this very important client that she has to make this custom dress for, and this client is kind of being obnoxious and having these last minute alterations, and she's like working overtime, and her man is not having it because he wants his girl at his mama's Christmas party. So that's like issue number one of
Well, I
JT.
mean, we just talked about this with the Martin
I know.
episode about men who want traditional women when it's convenient for
Convenient.
them, because JT and Shelly, I mean, I started watching this. I said, this is season 1, episode 11. Let me start at episode 8,
Okay.
because I got things to do. I can't watch the whole season. Let me go ahead and watch. Let me start at episode 8. Episode 8 is when Shelly meets JT's mom, and
Mm.
she meets her because the mother walks in on them in bed having sex. Now you got this woman over here, you're not married. I don't think there's been a proposal. Y'all don't live together. You got a roommate. I don't think you paid none of Shelly bills.
No, exactly.
But you trying to tell her how much she working. Nigga, you have lost your mind. I don't get it. I don't get it. It's not like she was saying, oh no, but my friend is having a Christmas party and I'm just not able to make it to your mother's. And even that, I would say, like, she has every right to feel torn because her
Mm-hmm.
friendships are just as important as her, like, romantic unions. But she's not saying, oh, dang, Prada is having a sale and I really want to go to this sale. Like, no, I gotta work. I have to work. And she's a business owner.
Mm-hmm.
She is a business owner. So her, like, this is what she has. I'm sure she's put a significant amount of savings into this place. If the store doesn't do well, she don't get a paycheck. She's not working corporate at Home Depot. She's
Mm-mm.
not a project manager at Home Depot where it doesn't matter what Home Depot does. You're still getting a check at the
Listen, this
first of the
ain't
month, the end of the
Macy's.
month, bi-weekly. Like, you still getting a check.
She not selling dresses at Macy's. This ain't
She's
Macy's.
not selling dresses at Macy's where she's making hourly wage and a commission. Mama is the owner. She's building the product. She has to promote the product. This rich woman wearing this gown to this snowman ball or wherever this lady is going, she's hoping that she says, hey, I got this at Diva Styles and they are just wonderful. And they worked with me. They were very flexible with me. I asked them to make a lot of alterations and they did. And it's perfect. And I really like them. You should spend your money there. Like, she's hoping that this woman does this. And you mad about a fucking Christmas party? Not your mama is, going into surgery. She want to see everybody. A Christmas party. I can't.
And then Eve did say, she don't complain when he worked late, and he ain't have nothing to say about that. I'm like, oh,
And
so
from episode 8, 9, 10, or 11, I don't know what he do. What do he do?
I don't remember.
Because
I
I
don't
know
even
what Eve do.
remember.
I know what Eve do. I know what Rita do. I know what Janie do. I
Did
know
he
what
work?
Donovan does.
Yeah, Donovan had the club. I think he I want to say he just worked a regular 9 to 5.
Oh, okay, well, he need to hurry up and get to 9 to 5 in, because Shelly is being the boss. Get up on my face with the silliness. Anyway. Yeah, but his whack ass mama has something to do with that too. It how many overbearing mothers do we see? There was no overbearing mother in Sanford and Son.
Well, specifically mothers of sons, because that's different.
Yeah. I mean, the mother, um his mom died. So, like, Elizabeth passed on, so there's no overbearing mother there. It's just Sanford and dang, what's the son's name?
I don't even know.
I
Son.
forgot. But
We had this
um
conversation with Love and Basketball, because JT mentioned when he was talking to his friends that, oh, my mom did everything. My mom took care of me and my daddy, so I don't understand why a woman can't do the same. And the same thing with Love and Basketball with Q, where he didn't necessarily like say it, but you can tell when we saw how he grew up, his mama was just, she took care of the home, and that's just what he expected Monica to do when that time when she had to decide to stay with him or go to her dorm for curfew. because I think that's just what he just expects of women because his mama did it.
Hmm.
And you see a lot of men will say that, oh, and they're not thinking. That's why in our love and basketball conversation, I'm like, do men get it? Because women, we can see our mothers or our aunties or grandmothers kind of like struggle and be like,
Hmm.
ooh, I don't want that to be me.
Yeah.
But men would be like, oh, mom's fine. It's like, is
Done.
there a disconnect there? I just wonder, like, do you not see that your mom is not fine?
I think that if you have not been pulled in to do any of the work, then you don't see it. And I think oftentimes it's like the firstborn daughter or
Oh
a
yeah,
daughter in the family who was pulled
gotta
in
pick up the
to do
pieces.
some of the work that the mother is doing. And of course, you're not going to see anything when you are just being blessed, when you are just like you think it's the norm when you're being catered to. And I think some
Mm.
men do get it. I think some
They
men get
see
it.
it,
I think some men see it, and I think they recognize that, like, hey, dad could have pitched in a little more. I I think for those folks who have a disconnect, I wouldn't be shocked if it's because you you didn't do anything. You didn't do any of the work, so you didn't feel it. You didn't feel the pressure. So you just think everything is
but
okay.
are you blind? Like you have to feel. I feel like girls, daughters, they can sense the situation and be like, mm. Or is it because as a young woman, you're looking at your mother and seeing her and being like, this don't seem like the type of life that I want, or I don't want to go through
Yeah.
this. Whereas men are like, if looking at if their dad is benefiting, they're like, oh, this is great. Dad gets all the
Hmm.
benefits. So what's the problem?
Yeah. I mean, maybe you are blind if you're not out of the people in the house. You're probably paying more attention to the person you're going to model yourself after.
Yeah.
And you know a, a man might model himself after his father,
Yeah.
whether that's saying I want to be just like him or I want these specific traits, I don't want those. I don't know, I ain't got no degree in the psychology of these niggas, but what I'm saying is this: hell yeah, JT got a motherfucking blind spot, but I think it also took his father to
To
say,
tell
like,
him
you want a stay-at-home wife, baby. Let me tell you what that
what that
life is about.
comes with.
Let me tell you what that life is gonna get you. And again, you want somebody who is not working as much, but you are not providing any solutions. You
You're
just
not
you just
paying her
complaining.
bills.
Pay a bill. Say like, hey, here's the money for all of December. There you go. That can,
Yeah.
I
But
don't know,
even
but
I will say, even with that, the women I have heard who were in those situations, and I've seen those too, where like you have a man that is paying all the bills, they still be like that still ain't great.
doing too much. Yeah.
No, because there's like whenever there's money, there's power and
Yeah.
control, even if it's not like overtly, you know, telling her what. I mean, there's levels to this, but I mean, it's not it's not all that great. It's like,
It's
do I
not.
really want
And
this
I get
man telling me,
well, I
like,
get
controlling me
yeah.
with his money? No,
And what I'm saying is like, JT, you don't have the bank account to do any of the
exactly
things that you're asking for.
that part.
Even if it's like, hey, y'all need help with it. How can I help? What can I do to help? Because I really want you at this Christmas party, you
Hmm.
know? So it just seems like I guess I don't want Shelly to be in a position where she is depending on JT financially. I don't think Shelly wants that either.
No.
What I'm talking about is, JT, you want only a part of a thing.
Exactly.
You want a traditional woman, but you don't want to offer the rest of the traditions that go along with turning her into a
You don't want to
traditional
be a
woman.
traditional man because
You
you
don't
ain't
want that.
asked like, do y'all need an extra sewing machine? Can I? Do y'all
Exactly.
need what do y'all need? Y'all need to go to the store and buy some thread, some needle and thread. Are you gonna sit here and thread these rhinestones on this dress so we can be done early for your
Exactly.
mama's party?
Are you gonna
I
put
don't
these
think
cap
so.
sleeves on this dress, even though that bitch just
Are you gonna
asked for
take
these
them off?
sleeves? And like, you're not gonna help in any way.
Exactly.
You're just going to complain. Get out. Go to your mama whack ass party. That party look whack as fuck.
So we're at his mother's party, and Kelly Rowland comes through the door. And she is like, "Oh, JT, I had a crush on you since forever." And he's like, "So what you do?" And she's like, "Well, I had my catering business." He was like, you a career woman?" And she was like, "Nah, I had to let it go because I want a family. I want to be married with some kids. And most importantly, I want to cater to you. So tell me what you need. Tell me what you need and I'll get it for you." And JT is like, "This is the type of woman I've been talking about. Yes. Tell me more, Kelly
Child.
Rowland." But then his daddy is like, "Be careful what you wish for, son. Like, you don't want no woman at home all day bugging you. Like, your mama need a job. She don't got one, but she need one. I wish your mama had a
Mhm.
job. I wish she had one. That's the difference. You looking like, oh, my mama ain't never had no job." And the daddy's like, "I wish she had a job. If
And
only
not
you knew."
because she needs a job
No.
for the cash. She just need to get up out of his face.
Hmm.
I know she driving that man crazy.
And then we kind of see with Kelly Rowland's character and the mother, played by Daphne Reed, how they're supposed to portray these submissive women, stay at home wives, and how they kind of like this, they have this takeover spirit, and this little
Yeah.
competition is going on. They start singing Christmas carols, and it's this like competition between Kelly and Daphne about who can sing the best. It's like, oh, Kelly, of course, is coming through with her powerful vocals. And Daphne is like, "Girl, this is my piano. What are you doing?" And so it's funny, but the point is, it's like they're, this, it's like this takeover competitive, nice, nasty spirit of, I was a cater to you, or I'm the best housewoman. I don't know, like they're marking the territory in a way.
Hmm.
So that was funny
Yeah.
to see.
There's a little back and forth about eggnog.
Oh
There's
yeah.
back and forth about the Christmas decorations. And I think that this is a way that these women in these positions are asserting some type of dominance.
Oh yeah.
In a previous episode, Mrs. Hunter comes in and she's just running the show. Like, you
Mhm.
can tell JT is a mama's boy. You can tell he's a little bit afraid of her. You can tell what she says goes. You can tell, like, that is what happens in their home. Even with Mr. Hunter, you know, it's like, hey son, take take advice from me. She's right. Don't don't even try to argue with her. This is a way for her to assert some type of power in a situation where she is more than likely powerless, because in the grand scheme of things, unless you had money saved up, put into that house, I'm sure your name is on the house, but I'm
Oh
sure
yeah,
if your
but it's
husband left you, what, you would more than likely be dependent on alimony.
oh yeah. I mean, it's not. I mean, it's yours through marriage, but you didn't. I mean, but then that's people can argue that like what do you consider contribution? Who knows? Who knows how long you've
Yeah,
been
and I
together
think
or
a
whatever.
homemaker is a very important part of the home. So, that's not me saying that her position is ineffective or not valuable. It's completely valuable. But when we think about the the bottom line, you know, if Mr. Hunter found himself a nice little young thing he wanted to run off with, you can't go cash in being a homemaker.
Not only that, if Mr. Hunter got severely ill or
Yep, there you go.
disabled,
There you
it's
go.
like what are you gonna do?
What are you
Also,
gonna do?
yeah, I was gonna say we forgot to mention that there's tension between Shelly and JT's mother.
Yeah,
Shelly believes JT's mom doesn't really like her. JT's mom is like, "Oh, look this woman, she's a not only she's a career woman, but she's not as posh or polished
yeah,
as the mother." You can tell JT's family seems like an upper middle class ish family.
yeah,
And so when Kelly Rowland comes through with her beautiful blue dress and her nice flowing hair, JT's mom was like, "Oh, this is the type. This is how a woman should look." Versus Eve with her braids and her jeans and midriff showing.
child.
But Eve
This
ends
is
up
how.
coming to the party, and all of a sudden, JT's mama is loves Eve because she sees when you do have a traditional woman, there's gonna be some tension between, the
Mm-hmm.
potential wife and potential mother-in-law. Like you don't want that smoke. You don't want
You
the
don't.
you don't want your son's wife overstepping your boundaries. Okay, JT's mama is like, you know what? Eve can spend all her time at Diva Style because I will still be queen of the house, and my son will always come to me for my eggnog and my Christmas decorations. Ain't no
Yeah.
competition going on over here. So she learned real quick, like, nope, go to
And
Eve.
there was never a conversation that interrogated what the mother wanted. And I think, of course, not like this is a low stakes, like this isn't Atlanta. This is
Yeah.
not, so, but you do question the intentions of the mother. Like, what did you want that traditional woman for your son or for yourself? And then when you found
Hmm.
it, your you want your son's wife or your son's partner to compliment you, not compliment
Oh
him.
yeah, she don't know, but she doesn't want the wife to take her position. I think that's another
Yeah,
thing that we see with mothers, especially of sons. It's like the wife comes in, or I guess the stereotype was like, the son's wife is gonna come in and take your place, and you need to solidify your spot in your son's life. And it's like, not Kelly
child.
Rowland's trying to outsing me on my
Right.
piano. No, ma'am. I'm gonna be singing solo, okay? And then poor Kelly looks sad because she realized JT, she can't. JT's not gonna be with her.
Child.
He gonna be with Eve, but she fine. She gonna be good.
Exactly. She gonna be all right. And that was like just what I realized about this show is like every episode there's a guest star. I mean, I saw Missy, I saw Queen Latifah,
Oh,
I saw JT's mother, like who,
Well, Missy
what's her
did the
name?
theme song, Daphne Reed.
Daphne Reed. And I'm assuming, so JT's mom is Daphne Reed. Missy did the theme song, like you said before,
I want
and
to say, did Queen Latifah have something to do with the show?
I bet Queen Latifah and Missy Elliott more than likely produced it. I would not be shocked. Let
Yeah.
me see.
Queen Latifah does everything.
I'm not seeing Missy or.
Well, let's see Missy as doing the music.
Yeah, but I was like, maybe she's a
A
producer, but
producer.
Eve is co-executive producer, and so I'm sure she went and got a lot of her friends in the music industry and was like, come on, because Kelly Rowland, Queen Latifah, and I mean by this time Queen Latifah is just a star, not just a
Mm-hmm.
musician. Like she's
She's
everything
an
at this point.
actress.
Yeah.
There's people who don't even know Queen Latifah used to rap.
Child. Do they make up because the mother is excited to see Shelly?
Yes, I think
And
so.
see,
Which makes sense
that's
because he's
another
gonna do
reason I'm
whatever
like,
that man gonna do whatever his mama tell him to do.
whatever. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed the show. Hit us up on Instagram at Curry Gumbo. Hope to see you next week. Bye.